Welcome back to the channel. Today there's a lot of questions that y'all been asking about the 28 gauge, so let's get to it. When's the 28 gauge coming to the store near me? I don't know, but soon. They are shipped. They are shipping to locations. How did I get mine? Which store? I am part of the ambassador program. I am shooting for Retay, so that's how I got mine. So far, by the time you watch this video, I've had it a week and a half. So I haven't done a whole lot of shooting. What you saw in the past two videos is what I got so far with the 28. I get a lot of questions. How do I like it? It is super light. What does this have in common? These are a pound each. It's 2 pounds lighter than the 12 gauge. 2 pounds. 1 pound lighter than the 20 gauge. So the 12 gauge is 7 pounds. The 20 gauge is 6 pounds. The 28 gauge is 5 pounds. And there could be a little bit of ounces in between, but basically there's a pound each going down. What does it feel like? Well, in one of the videos, I forgot to put earplugs in because it's so much quieter. It was just that much difference in quietness. The recoil, I mean, come on. It's a 28 gauge with the airy repad. I call this the 80s tennis shoes. If you grew up in the 80s, you know what I'm talking about. With that and it being a semi-auto, there was hardly no recoil at all. So we're going to compare each one. I'm going to throw some measurements out, talk about each one. Yeah, so let's get to it. So in front of me, I have the Retay Ace R 12 gauge and the Ace R 28 gauge. A lot of people say, can these stickers be pulled off? Yes, these are just regular stickers. They just come off. There's nothing special about pulling them off. A lot of gun manufacturers put stickers here. That's all this is. The only reason I keep it on there, so when I'm making video content, everybody sees the name. So the sticker comes off. Yes, I haven't even put that off. So a lot of questions have been, how do you like it? So far, I do like it. Why do you like Retay over the other ones? Well, they got a lifetime limited warranty. Any problems you have, pick up the phone and you could talk to somebody. That's a plus. Would I pick the 12 gauge over 28 gauge? The question is, what makes you want to drop down? One, I want to make video content. 28 gauge is obviously the top of everything. You know, eventually, we get older. We want less recoil. So that's an option. Sometimes, there's a lot of hunters out there that have done the Grand Slam turkeys. They pretty much shot all the ducks. 12 gauge, let's just look at the shells. Let's just start there. Occasionally, when a hunter has scratched off everything, that's done it once, done it this, done that, got the t-shirt, he wants a little bit more challenge. So we got the 12 gauge. In theory, there's a few 10 gauge people still out there, but we got the 10 gauge, we got the 12 gauge, we got the 20 gauge, we got the 28 gauge, and we got the 410. Obviously, the smaller you go down, the less pellets you have, which makes it harder to shoot. Not harder as in the gun to shoot, harder to hit something. You're talking, let's just say roughly 300 pellets, 150, 125, maybe 100. So, with that being said, a lot of people start out with the 12 gauge because it puts out a spread of pellets. Well, so does the 28 gauge. The 28 gauge is going to give you the same spread playing with chokes as the 12 gauge, but there's going to be less pellets in it. So your aim has to be better. So a lot of people want to go with the 28 gauge. Why? They want to outdo the 12 gauge. Plus, they just don't want the kick. The more powder you got in there, the bigger the payload, the more kick. So you're talking an inch. So you're talking 1 1/8 ounce, a 1 ounce, a 3/4, and I don't even remember what this little guy's got in him. So typically, more payload means more kick. So a lot of people are on the 28 gauge. 28 gauge is nothing new. What Retay's done with 28 gauge, they didn't magically come up with a caliber. 28 gauge has been around a long time. So the gauge is just making a comeback. Why? Because technology has brought it back. So let's get into it and let's compare the shotgun. So length, they are both the same. This is a 28-inch barrel. I do have a extended choke on that because this is my waterfowl gun. The 12 gauge Ace R, and we're just going to say Ace R because that's what I got. Ace R is the mid humps. So many people say, oh, that's just a replica Browning A5. That is not true. This is not as high as a humpback. A humpback's probably about that much more taller. So this hump is good for guys that's got big necks, broad shoulders, usually tall guys. Because when you throw that hump up, it is in your face, like in your face. Now, little guys or gals typically like the rounded receiver. So I like the Ace Rs. So the Ace R 12 gauge, it can shoot 2 3/4, 3-inch, and 3.5. And I got a video on it cycling 2 3/4 dove loads. Never jams. It keeps on chirking. The 28 gauge is something different than a lot of 28 gauge guns. Why? It can shoot a 3-inch shell. So this can do 2 3/4 and 3-inch. So you can get them 3-inch dove loads, 3-inch waterfowl loads, the 3-inch, hey, I want to make my own in this gun. Typically, the 2 3/4 are 3/4 of an ounce payload. If you're a reloader, you can reload whatever you want to, but semi-auto, there is not very many semi-autos on the market that can do a 3-inch shell. So overall, they're both 28 inches. There is nothing different. So if I put them on top of each other, they are exactly the same length, the same recoil pad, the buttstock is the same height, the triggers are in the same length of pull. Everything is the same except right here. The foregrip is different, but they look exactly the same. They break down the same. This one has the button where you can pull the trigger out, the trigger group, same button, pull it out. These buttons are the same. The charging handles look the same. They both have the speed unloading feature. But there are a little bit of difference in measuring. So I have had a lot of people ask, what do I think? I shot skeet at the house with this one so far. I really like it. But when you're talking 2 pounds difference, and I am a 12 gauge kind of guy, I always joke around and say that's the Lord's gauge, and that's pretty much all I shoot. Am I going to go turkey hunting this year with the 28 gauge? Possibly. I will go ahead and just say that, possibly. Because I live in South Carolina, and if you look at the turkey population for the last 3 or 4 years, we are on a major decline. I want a turkey. I will take my 12 gauge Retay pump with me first off. Once I scratch that first bird, it will be the 28 gauge, because the opportunities are very thin, and I'm afraid I might miss or something. I don't know. If we start patterning this gun, I got a choke tube on the way. My turkey choke tube should be here tomorrow. By the time you watch the next video, I will have my turkey choke. But at this moment, until I can see what TSS does in turkey load, I'm afraid to drop down to 28 gauge. That's just my honest opinion. I want to take one with the 12 gauge first and then the 28 gauge. But like I said, we start patterning. We still got a month and a half away from turkey season. I might just do it. I don't know. I can't say. I honestly, I don't know. I know a lot of people's asked, how's it feel? I hadn't had it that long. This one right here, I hunted with it. I know what this one will do. I have never really shot 28 gauge. Like, I borrowed one, went to a range just to see what the 28 gauge was all about. The brand new gun. Totally two different guns what I was using. So, can I, confident in my head, get there? Yes, I am. I am going in about a week to the range. I plan to shoot some trap with it, some skeet with it, and some sporting clays. I want to get used to this 28 gauge. A lot of people say, well, I want to switch to 28 gauge. It's not going to save you any money. The guns are about the same price. The shells, just for dove load, is about $4 more a box for 28 gauge. Why? Because these mass producing ammo companies had their machines set up for a certain caliber. And 12 gauge is typically the top seller. So they're just setting them up and running. Once they have to change the molds to 28 gauge, it takes time. They don't run the biggest batches. There ain't that many people buying the 28 gauge until now. 28 gauge is taking off. So if you're thinking about getting a 28 gauge, get a 28 gauge so we can lower the prices of ammo. With that being said, there's plenty of hand loaders that make waterfowl ammo. There's a lot of waterfowl ammo out there for 28 gauge. But you're not buying a 28 gauge to say, hey, I'm going to go smaller caliber so I save on money. No. If that's the case, if that was in theory, we would go to 410. But if you ever bought 410 ammo, you know that's not true. But like I said, it's $4 a box more. So if you went and shot 100 rounds, that's $16. But $16 for an older guy or somebody who has a torn rotator cuff or any kind of shoulder damage, that's $16 without it being kicking as hard, and the fact that it's 2 pounds lighter. I mean, imagine taking this and putting 2 more pounds on it. I mean, that's basically what you're doing. You're now lighting the gun. Now, what I said, maybe not turkey hunt. I really think that I probably 100% could take a turkey with this. Waterfowl, if I took this out right now, there would be a lot of misses. And you're going to say, why? When you take a 7-pound gun and you're swinging with it, there is a difference of 2 pounds. You will, heck, it might improve. It might improve because you know why? Typically, hunters shoot behind the bird. Maybe it being lighter, maybe it would speed up my swing and I actually get in front of the bird. Maybe so. Retay didn't pick me because I was the best. Well, I wonder why they did pick me. Maybe it's my southern accent or it's my good looks. So, with that being said, let's get into some measuring. I'm not measuring the barrel because obviously it's half the size. But When you're dropping sub gauges, you're also dropping in size, not length, but diameter size. So let's look at it. So I got my handy dandy calipers here. So we're going to measure the buttstock. Me personally, I don't think there's any difference. I'm just going to start right here at the R. So the R is 1.44 inches. The R, 1.44. The Y, 1.29. 1.29. So I'm not going to say they're probably the same, but I'm pretty sure they're maybe. Let's measure the neck. Right here, 1.44. Nope, they are not. The 12 gauge here is 1.57. So they are not the same buttstock. So let's measure this receiver, 1.54. All right, look at this. So this is, look at that. That's almost a quarter of an inch smaller. And why are you going to say that? Okay, I'm 6'2", 250. I'm a pretty big guy. Well, if you look at a smaller guy, maybe somebody's got smaller hand. I got a lot of sausage hand here. How does the gun feel? What does my hands cover? All makes a difference for each person holding a shotgun. What might fit me might not fit you. What might fit you won't fit me. So that's why I'm measuring here. I want to show y'all what it's like. I want you to go ahead and get in your head, hey, maybe this 28 gauge is for me, and I can't wait to try it when I get to the store. Or maybe I'm 6'5", and my hands look like a basketball player, and they're going to be like, maybe the 28 gauge ain't for you. But I still say you need to go to the store and pick it up. So receiver, from here to the foregrip, we're just going to measure the foregrip part because that does stick out a little bit more, is 1.58, 1.43. The foregrip all the way at the fattest part, let's start with the 12 gauge. The fattest part is 1.55, 57, 53. So it definitely moves up in size. So let's measure here. This here is 1.21. It comes up a little bit. 1.45, 44, 44. So, I mean, you're talking a good bit of difference. I mean, all right, let's see. Let's put it back up here. Look at that. That's more than a quarter inch. Easily more than a quarter inch. I'm not going to go as far as say a half inch, but that is more than a quarter of an inch. Rib size. Now maybe you have a harder time seeing. A lot of guys say you don't even need to have a bead. The beads are exactly the same. A lot of people don't. Some people like a mid bead. Me personally, I like a mid bead. I know Retay's new sporting shotgun will come with a mid bead. I like mid beads on everything. So on the rib, we are talking 0.325. On the 28 gauge is definitely smaller, 0.236. The 12 gauge is already pre-drilled for you for a Picatinny rail. The 28 gauge is not. Now what does this going to look like in maybe a turkey edition? Do they have another edition? I don't know. I know that there is a whole lot of stuff coming out of the Retay camp. Like, a lot. All right, so people ask, can this be replaced? Why would you ask, what can it be replaced? If you hunt in South Carolina where there's mosquitoes and you have off on your face, a lot of the times off will eat rubber. A lot of salt water, a lot of conditions eat this rubber pad up. It's just like all the other rubber pieces you ever had on a gun. So yes, this is easy to take off. We're going to take the airy pad off. We're going to work that off. That comes off. And inside here is what I call like a key ring. It's one of them rings that you would put a key on, but it's smaller. It is on a pin that you pull up, and I have big old fat sausage fingers. That is hard for me to get my fingers in, so I'm going to use the needle nose. If I pull up on that pin, this comes off and is replaceable. So there you go. Shows you it comes off. The little pin is right there. It's just a little teeny hole. It's the exact same on the 28 gauge. It's easy to replace. It's easy to clean up under. You just put it in there and you're going to pull that pin and put it right back in that hole. There you go. Remember to put your airy pad back on. So it's not that hard. Easy to do. I have not patterned the 28 gauge yet. I'm waiting on some cool ammo to come in. We're going to pattern it. We're going to see where it is on the paper. I got a book here, the book that came with it. It shows you how to shim it up, down. Me, personally, I like 50-50. I like my pellets to be, here's the 30-inch circle. I like 50% of my pellets up here, 50% down. If I'm shooting trap, I want it higher, like maybe 60-40. Some people like 60-40 for waterfowl. It's all how you like your gun. But the book will show you how to do it. I will most likely make a video on how to do it on the 28 gauge. I have it on the 12 gauge. So there we go. The only other thing that I saw different on the 12 gauge is right inside here where the shell catches the extruder or the spring. I really don't know what the part's called. I would call it the extruder part. I know the shell catches that and it helps throw it out. The 28 gauge does not have that spring there. So it definitely looks different inside, but obviously it has zero problems on the way it cycles because I shot it. The carrier looks a little bit different where this one has a slot here. This one more is solid. Yeah. Other than that, I don't see anything different. The cap is different size, obviously, because it's bigger. But since I was measuring things, we'll measure it too. 1.20. It's going to be a lot different. 0.97. Yeah, other than that, I don't see anything different. I mean, you can see on the camera they are lined up. Yeah. So, all right. So before anybody asks, and I don't know the answer to the question, we're going to find out what is the trigger pull. It is empty. So let's see what the trigger pull is. So 12 gauge first. It is 6.5. We're going to reset. We're going to reset it. Six and a half. Let's just do 3. 3 times. That's pretty consistent. 6, and one little whatever hair that is, I can't even see that because I don't have no glasses, past 6.5. So that was pretty much on average. Same thing, empty. Reset. £7. Ooh, £6. $6.25. $6.5. So it's all over the board, but you can feel, or you can see, it's starting to move. £6. Now, with that being said, this gun has had a lot of shells through it. This gun has had maybe a half a box. So this may be too early to actually even get all the grease out of it, all the factory grease, it being cleaned. We're roughly around the same trigger pull. So there you go. All right, well, if you have any more questions, drop them in the comments. If I know the answer, I will answer them. If I don't know the answer, I will try to get an answer. But other than that, I have been happy. Now, I do say, I love me some Max 7. This is the first time ever owning bottomland. So I know some of y'all bottomland people, y'all drink a whole different type of coffee. Y'all's coffee is probably solid black. Me up here, I'm on that cheer wine and Dr. Pepper. All right, y'all hit that subscribe button. I'll see y'all next time.